Hey guys, and welcome to the Miss Kenna channel. My name is Halta Kenna, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about part 2 of the story of Noah and the Ark. And so if you are new to my channel, please do hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification so that every time I upload a new video, you are one of the first people to see it. And of course, give a thumbs up button for this video. Let us get started. If you have not seen the other videos, I will be putting it down below in the description box so that you can at least watch the first part of the story of Noah and the Ark. And of course, I will put down below the other videos that are in the series of Bible study of Bible stories. This is going to be Genesis chapter 8, verses 13. And it reads, By the first day of the first month of Noah's 601st year, the water had dried up from the earth. Noah then removed the coverings from the ark and saw that the surface of the ground was dry. By the 27th day of the second month, the earth was completely dry. Now we're moving on to verse 15. Then God said to Noah, Come out of the ark, you and your wife and your sons and their wives. Bring out every kind of living creature that is with you, the birds, the animals, and all the creatures that move along the ground, so that they can multiply on the earth and be fruitful and increase in number upon it. So I'm going to stop there. So if you remember, in the very beginning, when I talked about, I think it was either my first or second video, when we were talking about creation and how God created the earth and the heavens, one of the commandments is what God is saying once again in verse 16. So this tells you that God is basically starting creation all over again. Why? Because all of the evil people that were on the earth have been destroyed. God has totally flooded the earth and basically starting a new earth. And in this new earth, he gives a second commandment, which he gave in the very beginning of creation, and which was to multiply and to be fruitful on the earth. So then in verse 20, Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and taking some of all the clean animals and clean birds, he sacrificed burnt offerings onto it. The Lord smelled the pleasing aroma and said in his heart, Never again will I curse the ground because of man, even though every inclination of his heart is evil from childhood, and never again will I destroy all living creatures as I have done. So this is one of the first promises in God's new creation and God's new earth that he has, made. So in the new earth, God promises that he will not flood the earth again. And he says that he will not do that because he knows that mankind is evil and that we have evil in our hearts. So we're going to move on to chapter 9, and we're going to be moving on to verse 11. And it reads, I establish my covenant with you. Never again will all life be cut off by the waters of the flood. Never again will there be a flood to destroy the earth. And in verse 12, and God said, This is a sign of the covenant I am making between me and you and every living creature with you, a covenant for all generations to come. So then it goes on in verse 13 to talk about what the sign that God is placing and the covenant that God is making with mankind and with creation. And it says, I have set my rainbow in the clouds, and it will be the sign of the covenant between me and the earth. Verse 14. Whenever I bring clouds over the earth and the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will remember my covenant between me and you and all living creatures of every kind. So Have you ever seen a rainbow after it has rained? It really does appear as it is described here in the Bible. So if you've ever seen a rainbow after a storm or after a rain, it really does appear as God has said here in the description here, where there are clouds, and the rainbow is kind of just pouring out of the clouds, you know? And I think that is just so beautiful. And this is the very first time that a rainbow has been created. Now, we can go into detail talking about why the rainbow is what it is, which shows, the major colors. It has blue, yellow, reds, yellows, just absolutely beautiful, and a sign that shows unity in the form of many colors. And I think that is what is so beautiful about God's covenant. When God created the rainbow, it wasn't just one specific color, it was different colors. And this shows that God's creation is just diverse, and that there is a uniqueness and a difference in all these colors. However, they are coming together to form unity. And that's why most signs about unity, about togetherness, are in the symbol of the rainbow, just like how God intended it to be, which is a covenant to show that whenever we see that, we are to remember this specific story. And this rainbow is something that has been seen from multiple generations. And we are lucky to see this sign every single time. So think about that every single time you see a rainbow after a storm. Thank you guys so much for staying all the way to the end, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye!